There have been a series of usernames overtaking the speedrunning leaderboard, all beginning with an L9 underscore. The usernames that follow are some of the most unique I've ever seen. And these are not your average Joe speedrunners. Look at these times. It's Furry Girl. No, but seriously, these players are very good. 7:46, that's literally my fastest time ever. How many of these usernames do you think are in the top 100? There's 8. There's 8 of them, and they are all above me on the leaderboard. I wasn't even planning on making this video, but I saw the username, and I just had to start recording because This run was actually legendary. It was the best run I played all day, and I had a pretty good day today. The match between me and L9 Boy Kisser 67 was one for the history books. So sit back and please enjoy this over-dramatic montage intro. I hope you enjoyed that intro nearly as much as I enjoyed making it. There's a couple of strange things that come out of the speedrunning community. I remember there was this whole month-long hype around getting an inventory full of furnaces. You get quirky usernames, but overall, I think the speedrunning community is maybe my favorite community in all of Minecraft. It's such a competitive community, yet it's so friendly. It helps that because you're speedrunning, you're mainly against yourself, right? That's sort of how speedrunning came to be. And I think if you're in the PvP community, there's a big stigma on like toxicity, you know, and I think a lot of that can come from just one-on-one with another player. You know, you're fighting them, you're against them. But in speedrunning, yeah, sure, you're racing them, but it really comes down to your mistakes. And for most of all runs, until you start getting in the really high level, most runs are determined by forfeit. There's a crazy stat. I'm going to get it completely wrong, so I won't try and reiterate it. But the majority of runs, up until you reach the Emerald Diamond range, are won or lost because people forfeit. I wasn't really planning to go on a whole tangent on like why the speedrunning community is cool. I thought this run was really, really awesome. I was planning to make a commentary video on it even before I thought of the idea to make this silly little intro. So to wrap up that thought, shout out all you guys in the speedrunning community who are cool, focusing on self-improvement, trying to get faster, being a cool community, showing up to ranked playoffs, typing friendly messages, because I think that's really neat. That's a really neat way to live life, especially because you can get tilted playing ranked and it can be really hard on the mental and there's a lot of crash outs, but I think overwhelmingly the community is just so awesome. As for this speed run, I'm just pulling up my stats right now. I was having a pretty good day. We've had honestly a pretty good week. I've been climbing a little bit. I'm hovering at wait, what place am I right now? Wait, I'm actually trying. I'm 86th right now, so maybe not my best season ever, but it's my best season ever in terms of average, in terms of confidence playing today. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was channeling my inner Infume. I wasn't trying to be super flashy. I was just trying to make all the smart moves. I wasn't worrying about drag clicking a ton. I was just trying to lock in my decision making. I'm taking a lot of damage here. Let's try to ignore that, but I'm trying to stay alive here in the top of housing. I had a couple of deaths last week in housing that really came down to me not looting chests confidently enough or quickly enough, and it's a little bit messy, not gonna lie. I'm chugging through all my rotten flesh here. I decided not to mine this little spot that maybe you've seen me mine before because there's some really nice terrain to let all the pigs in, and so what ends up happening is a really solid housing route. I don't know how many pigs I get, but it's probably close to 15. So what I'm thinking about here, after I get all the gold, is I need to craft my blaze bed, maybe some nether bricks, and I start to think, where am I leaving for this fortress? I know the fortress is within a handful of chunks, so it's gonna be really close, but I didn't see it on the way in, mostly because I spawned directly on top of the bastion, so I literally had 0 time to think. But I know it's going to be close. I think I'm in pause quadrant, so it's going to be negative on one of the directions. I'm just mining this gold block here, locking in the muscle memory, feeling confident in my gameplay. I think I was just coming off of a win, and I'm really struggling to commentate this housing route because it is just the same. Do you know how many commentary videos I've made doing this exact same thing? Oh my gosh, I'm going to mine these 2 blocks. Whoa, there's a double chest. I got some extra obby. That's kind of cool. This is literally the housing bastion route is the beginnings of my commentariness, because I used to just talk about my life during a housing route, because after making so many videos, I thought, everybody's seen this already. What can I do new? Oh, I could talk about my life. And I think that is how I started talking about my real life stuff. Isn't that crazy? I think that's crazy. But with the run, we just got our spike, and I look up, the fortress is right here. Super close. It's going to be a sub 5 fortress. This is what I'm hoping for if I'm doing like a random seed run. I mean, honestly, it's what I'm hoping for if I do a ranked run too. So I get my first rod here. Unfortunately, get hit by a wither skeleton, so that's not great. I stumble with my blocks a little bit, but I've been chugging my rotten flesh this entire seed. It's very important you eat as soon as your first half hunger bar is down on rotten flesh seeds, because you want to get that healing up before. Also, I think that gravel play blocking off that skeleton was really nice. But it's very important to just chug food whenever you can, especially early on, because in a typical speedrun, most of your damage should be coming from pearls, assuming that you don't take any damage from skeletons or wither skeletons. That's just like, you can play around that. But pearls, that's where you should be saving up all of your health for. And so I'm down on 2 rotten flesh now. I know I'm probably gonna have to hunger reset at some other point in the run. But up ahead, I guess there is a chicken. There's a a chicken jockey, so I didn't even notice that. I could have gotten a piece of cooked chicken while I was killing blazes. That would have been cool. I decided not to. I actually made a couple interesting decisions on this bastion route. You see, I'm already at 5 rods, 6 rods. I barely got to the spawner, and so I didn't have any time to pre-craft my explosives like my opponent did. So I did actually, I think, lose time in the fortress. Maybe just because the rates were good. I kind of just made a more high rolly play that honestly I don't normally do. It was kind of just, what do you call it? The blue biome. Warped. It was a warped forest, so I knew the mob, like the blaze strays were going to be slightly better. I saw a handful, and I guess I'm a big fan of playing for strays. I also decided to get sheep here. That's arguable. No, that's not gotta be a misplay here. I got 4 mutton. It's really good. The play is either get food here or hunger reset here. Hunger resetting would have been faster slightly, so maybe, but it's a 2,000 block stronghold. I don't know how many times I'm gonna be needing to pearl, and as you can see here, I'm pearling pretty aggressively. Something I am proud of about this run is I overlap me healing, eating the food here, with pre-crafting all of my explosives. Because it was such an awkward fortress, I didn't have time to do that. So while I'm healing up my health here, while I'm waiting for my saturation to drain, you see I just have another hunger hunch gone down, so I can eat another piece of food. I've crafted everything. So I can eat this mutton here. I'm on way higher health. What was I on? A heart and a half or something? Really low. I pearled. I'm ready to go. I got the coordinates locked in my head. It's still sub 7 minutes. Psych, it's not sub 7 minutes anymore. And I have 1 more pearl until I get to my coordinates. I see that my opponent has gotten in the I Spy though, and so I know I've lost time somehow. And now I'm thinking, oh crap, I need to make up time here. I have to nail this nav. I've just been losing a ton on nav recently. I need to lock in here. And so I start scanning. I see a spike. Top right. I decide to go down mid, but things end. I double back, go up to the top right. I know this is a hidden room. Into another hidden room. Check the wooden door. I don't think it's that way. I'm pretty sure it's actually that way. I decide to go left here, which is not good. I still sort of get the spike this direction, but oh my gosh, I can't. I'm realizing now how much I'm using my hands while doing this voiceover, bro. You don't get to see this at all. Oh my gosh, I speak a lot with my hands when I do voiceovers. The point is, I'm checking a couple of directions here. I'm already pretty deep into the stronghold, so I wanted to check a couple of these corners to potentially maybe see the portal room. At this point, I know my opponent still hasn't entered the end, but I'm starting to get flashbacks of all of the times I've freaking lost a nav, but there it is, the portal room. Double pearl here. I'm hunger resetting, set the bed. I'm going to be entering the end first here, assuming they don't enter. I stumble a little bit with the mechanics going into F5, but I've put in all of the eyes. We're in the end first. As long as I hit the 0 here, I should win the match. Assuming nothing crazy goes wrong. It's tower, what was that? 86, 88, something like that. I think it was 88. So I pillar up all the way to 99, set up pretty easily here. I have plenty of time, get off my first bed, do a little pause to make sure the dragons don't have any weird desync or lag. Do a double bed, and then finish it off with another double bed. Pretty sure that was a 3 rotation 0. Perfect, exactly what I'm looking for. And now, the reaction. I played that so well. Finally, I can hit one of the low 9s and actually get it after like 3 in a row of minor choking. Oh my gosh, I played that well. I hope this becomes a commentary video so we can immortalize L9 Gaia 67. Yo, wait, I gotta show the chat. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Oh my gosh. I was recording. I started recording because his username and people started freaking out in chat. Yo, wait, that would be such a funny commentary video.